mat in standing, and we've got blocks and a strap nearby. Very hot still, but rather than lying all the time, let's move around and cause a bit of flow of air this morning. So before we start, just have a little shake through and see if you can release any heat without building it up. So that's trying to find that balance between enjoying some freedom and some airflow without building up heat through resistance or putting too much force into our bodies. Okay, so then come to Tadasana, an easy Tadasana, but do find your feet. Have a little rock around of some connection there through the tripod points of your feet. Find that connection through your posture by pushing into your feet, drawing it up through your thighs, through your belly, through your shoulder blades at the back of your body, tuck in your chin. And then just let yourself go 10% so that you're not really holding too strongly in this pose today. A mountain can stand without too much exertion. Okay, so we're going to take the 3-part breath to start with. So that's the one where we join our tips of our middle fingers on our chest, then we move down to our ribs, then we move down to the belly. So very easy one. If anybody finds this too heavy in the arms, then please take them down and just breathe. But the idea is to get a little bit of space under your armpits here. So if you're comfortable to close your eyes doing this, then do so. If you'd be better looking at a focal point with your eyes maybe half closed, the drishti point, then use that. And then just notice your breath, first of all. Hands on your upper chest, fingertips, middle fingers just touching, fingers spread. And try and keep your elbows up a little bit, but you can let them soften if it's too strong on your shoulders that way. Noticing your breath. Noticing the heat in the breath. There's not much air to draw in that's cooler around about at the moment. So then controlling the breath, begin to control it. Start to breathe in for 4 and out for 4. Now it's a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's quite a slow 4. If that's too much for you, please don't hold your breath or strain at all. Go to 3. But try and make it an even inhale and an even exhale. And starting to use the breath through our nostrils. And taking 2 or 3 breaths here, just breathing in for 4 or your count of whatever you want here. And exhaling into the hands on the upper chest. Into that hot area now, probably where your hands meet your skin. And then on the next 3 breaths, breathe in for 4 through your nostrils and exhale for 6 through your mouth. So sigh the breath out. So sighing the breath out through our emergency exit here, maybe just lets us release a little bit more steam. If you're puffed, you often use your mouth. Okay, so once you've done that, move the hands down to the ribs. Same thing, let go of the breath for a minute. Find the middle fingers touching. As you move, your fingers should expand apart. So when you're ready, take your count of 4 and 4 through your nostrils for a few breaths. Just feeling the rib cage now moving below your hands. The mobile part of your ribs is obviously more mobile on the front of your body. But as you do this, see if you can move that movement right round to the back of the ribs and feel the space between each rib as you breathe. So heat exhaustion and heat stroke. There's quite a difference. I was looking it up last night and Gary could tell you all this probably, and I should be able to from a first aid, but heat exhaustion's not too good for you, but we can cope with it and deal with it. Heat stroke, it's a 999 call, so knowing the difference is quite important. Okay, so next, inhale for 4, exhale for 6 in that position with your ribs. So through your mouth again, sigh the breath out. Just take a few breaths, inhaling for 4, exhaling for 6 through your mouth while you think about this one. So heat exhaustion, fast breathing is one of the signs of it, because your body's trying to bring in more oxygen. Basically, your blood vessels have opened, and therefore your blood pressure goes down and your heart's struggling to get all the oxygen round your body. So your body tries to work on it by trying to get more breath in by fast breathing. That's my logic anyway. Excess sweating, which is something I know when it's very hot. Clammy skin. So because you're sweaty, you get clammy skin. And the answer to that, all of that, there's other symptoms, nausea, vomiting, other things that can come into it, headaches, etc. But those three, if you remember, the excess sweating, the fast breathing, the clammy skin, cooling the skin is the most important thing. This is important for old people in your family, young people in your family, babies particularly, who cannot regulate the temperature. Okay. Let go of the breath on that one, move the hands down to the belly. Same practice, a few breaths in for 4, exhale for 4, moving the breath now right down to the belly. Use all of your body, so all through the diaphragm in your breath. Slow breathing, deep breathing, using that oxygen to help your heart move some oxygen around you. Okay, so going back to heat, exhaustion. So cooling the skin, cooling the body, drinking cold water, finding a cold room to sit in or somewhere cooler, removing clothing, particularly babies, remember even nappies are hot. Fanning the skin, which I hadn't really thought about, but fanning the skin, maybe putting a cold compress on it and then fanning it, because it's the same thing as sweating. Then it helps the heat to evaporate from you through the moisture evaporation. So having coolness on you, cold compresses or whatever on you, and then fanning that area of babies if you're doing this particularly. Okay, so then go on to your 4 and 6 if you haven't already in your belly breathing. So heat stroke's much more serious. If heat exhaustion is there and you can't cool the person down and they seem to be heating up over a period of 30 minutes, they say, then you could be working towards heat stroke. Heat stroke, very much a shortness of breath, but no sweating. So that's one of the differences that was pointed out. And the skin is hot and dry as opposed to clammy. And if that's the case, then the person needs to be seen medically quite quickly. So obviously there's a judgment call here, and I'm not a doctor or a medical person. I'm just trying to bring something into it that might help you if anybody around you gets into this situation with these extreme heats that we're going through at the moment. But the answer there is call 999, particularly babies. Don't let it go on. The temperature can be taken, and if it's gone up, we should be 37 degrees. If it's nearer 40, then you must be starting to think heat stroke. Okay, medical side of things and warnings over. Okay, so let go of that breath out the mouth one more time if you haven't already given up on all of that. Even breathing can be quite exhausting and quite, it can build up heat. So let the breath go, let the arms dangle, have a little shake out again before you go back into moving. So we're going to move now, but we're going to move slowly, gently, and with ease. Please do not push yourself this morning and anything we're doing. We are doing some poses, but please don't push it. Okay, so starting to move. Just have a roll around your feet before we move. Maybe soften the knees as you do that. Let the hips come into it. A little bit of movement there and then in the other direction. And then maybe the shoulders can come into it. A little bit of airflow again through the under the armpits. That feels nice. And then come back to standing in Tadasana. I'm just going to inhale, take our arms up above our head. And exhale, take them down through Anjali Mudra. So inhale up and down through Anjali Mudra as you exhale. I might be going a little bit faster because I talk and I can't breathe at your rate here. Okay, one more inhale up, down through Anjali Mudra. And then go in the other direction. And this time, see if you can put in a little bit of a back bend, but just gently pushing into the feet as you go up. Hands up above the head in Anjali Mudra. Turn the palms out the way, open the palms, get some air to them. And move it back down. Same thing, 2 more of those, going up, pushing up through, opening up through the spinal column before you put in that overextension there at the top. Not overextension, extension. 1 more. And then release down to the bottom again. A little bit of front crawl and back crawl now. So right arm comes round in a circle, left arm comes round in a circle. And as you do this, you can start to let the body come with you, as you would do a little bit if you were swimming. Don't need to do all the technical bits here. Just a little point. Well done to Gregor Swinney, Gary's son, who is now the Scottish champion at 50-metre fly, I think it was on Sunday. Well done, Gregor, and all those early mornings from Gary. Okay, so come back down, take backstroke now. So same thing. Notice which one is more easeful. Maybe you have to bend your elbow in the backstroke a little bit more. Take it easily, let it flow. It's about getting some air movement here, remember, not about pushing yourself through it. And then come back to the front. Take the elbows out now into cactus arms. And then this one might be a bit heavy for you. If it is, you can do it with your hands at your waist. So if you're okay here, all we're doing is breathing in and exhaling, bringing the elbows back in and the hands together. Inhaling, we're opening, and we're taking the elbows and the back of the hands back as far as we can. So exhaling forward, inhaling, opening. If you're doing this, all you're doing is drawing your shoulders together and drawing the shoulders and elbows back. So same sort of movement, a little bit more work on the spine that way rather than the shoulders. Take a couple more of those. So the shoulders should be starting to warm. All we're doing here is warming the joints, because even though it's hot, doesn't mean to say that your joints are necessarily warmed up. It's a completely different thing there. So into our standing poses now to warm up our legs a little bit more. Draw your right leg up when you're ready. You can hold your thigh if it feels too heavy here today. You can hold a wall or a chair if you feel a little bit unbalanced. Not going to be here for that long. So just to warm up the ankle circles. Really concentrate on just moving your ankle. Really concentrate a little bit more on the standing leg. See if you can help yourself stand a little bit stronger, so that that leg doesn't feel quite so heavy. Go in the other direction with the ankle. And then concentrate on your knee. Sometimes it helps to put your finger on the kneecap here, just so that the knee is then circling. Not the hip, not the ankle, just the knee. If at any point you feel that you're getting exhausted in this position, you've had enough of it, then please put the leg down. You can come back into it if necessary. Go both ways with those circles. And then your hips. So again, put the finger on the hip and stir the pot right in the hip joint, as we say. So now the knee and foot are not moving. They are moving through this circle because your hip joint is moving. And then the other direction. So keeping supple and flexible helps us move far easier in this heat. When you're stiff, everything seems to dry up in the heat, probably because people aren't drinking enough fluid or we're losing too much. Let that leg come down for a rest for a second, and then move to the other one. We're going to go back to that one in a minute, but we'll take the other one first. So ankles first. Hold the leg if you feel it helps you. Lean on a wall if you feel it helps you. Just find a position that you can do this easily without taking too much through your body, too much force. Okay, into your knee then. Yeah, your joints get a bit sticky and clicky. As I say, a lot of fluid that we lose in this heat, and particularly old people don't like drinking for some reason. Pop your fingers to your hips and take your hip circles in. We always struggle to get old people in our family to drink anything. I don't know why. We drink pints of water, our family, but the older ones always were a struggle. And in this heat, that wouldn't be a good thing. Because there's not enough fluid to help your circulation work properly through you, which is carrying all that oxygen. Take that leg down then, have a little rest. Back onto the other side again. Right leg up in my case, hand on the thigh this time, and just open and close. So try to keep the knee and the thigh parallel with the ceiling if you can. I'm going a little bit fast. Try and work on the breath. So inhaling, you'd be opening always. Exhaling, we're closing. And then release that leg down. Take the leg up then into Apanasana, half Apanasana standing. So give that right leg still, we're working on a little bit of a squeeze in, open that hip. Try and keep the body nice and long. And then carefully move it in the opposite direction. Catch the foot or the trousers or something. Hold the wall, hold the chair, hold something if you need to, if you're wobbling. Allow that knee then to come together with the other one and drop down towards the floor. So you're opening here at your hip flexor. And that's always a nice feeling, that opening there, because we close that joint up a lot. Sitting down all day and things. Okay, other side. Let that leg just rest down, find its equilibrium again and back to balance. And then move into the right foot and move the left leg in and out. So inhaling out, exhaling in. I'm going too quickly again. So the point of this as well is then take your half Apanasana, have a little squeeze, is to start the body moving when it's not too hot in the day and get that flexibility there, but also getting your circulation going. Starting that oxygen moving around the body when the body's not overheating or feeling it too much. Sometimes it's a bit like treacle later on in the day when you're trying to move through it. Move the leg the other way now so you're standing and holding your foot or your trousers at the back. So we should have nice, open, mobile shoulders and hips after these few movements. And easy movements to remember if you want to pass them on to some older people who can do them sitting in a chair quite a lot of it. Okay, so we're going to take a roll up, roll down here, and you're going to need your bricks in a minute. Going on to slightly stronger positions, but don't push yourself through them, as I say. Okay, so put your bricks at one end. I'd put them in tall. It's for half Uttanasana, Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold when we come up. So we're going to use them just to hold ourselves on. So facing the bricks then, facing that end of the mat. Take a nice breath in. We're going to take a roll down and then a roll up. So soften the knees as much as you need to. Open up through the back as much as you can. Just gently rolling down. Don't need to go the whole way and then back up as you inhale. So try this one on the breath. When you get up to the top, open out your arms in Tadasana. Really widen your wings. And then roll back down again. Take it really slowly. Careful of your head. Inversions and heat don't always go well together. So just take it easy. Maybe when you come up the next time, you can take your arms up above your head and give yourself a little bit of an extension into a back bend there. And take one more roll down. Walking forward if you have to then, so that when you roll down, you can grab your bricks and they'll be under your shoulders as you roll out now into half forward fold. So opening up. Legs can stay bent. If you're not ready to open them, please don't force that either. But if you can, you're opening up the back of your legs and you're opening up the back of your spine and the front of your body. You want long body here. Tuck the chin flow and have the headlight is the crown of your head here, so it should be pointing forward. And make sure your hands are under your shoulders on the bricks. Okay, so there could be a bit of wobbling here. If you find you are wobbling, then please don't do it. Just be careful. So we're moving our left hand now into the brick, so using that brick as our stability. If you find this is very wobbly, you could put your hand on your thigh rather than on the rib. Okay, so then all we're doing is opening up that right arm, taking a semicircle out to the side, softening the left knee as we do that. So you're going into a bit of a twist, and the right leg stays long and the left knee bends to allow that twist. And then softening the right knee as the arm comes back down and folding it under you. So it's a bit like we're doing thread the needle, but the knees must bend to allow us to move. So please don't keep the legs straight, because otherwise you'll be putting too much pressure through your SI joints. So it's just like thread the needle, but standing. A little bit more open. And after the next one, take the arm up and then just hold there. You've still got a soft left knee. And open the palm and reach up. And maybe you can look up towards that hand. And then gently bring the right hand down. Bring it back onto your other brick. Bring that brick in. Taking it in the other direction, moving into the brick. You now know what you're doing, so it's a little bit easier. Keep that length, remember, in the front body. So the body isn't really changing shape lengthwise. It is twisting and moving in rotation, but it's the knees that are facilitating this movement as much as anything else. If your head gets dizzy, please stand up and take a break, or come down to the mat. Okay, so holding the next one up in that little twist, pushing gently into the brick with your hand and reaching up through the middle finger of your top arm. Oh, just got a bee or a wasp coming here. Okay. Rolling back down, bringing the brick in, so you've got both bricks under your hands now. Moving into your legs, you're going to take the right leg, trail it along the floor, big toe still on the floor, reaching out as far back as you can comfortably, but without twisting your hips there. So try and, while the toe is still on the floor, make sure your hips are parallel to the floor and also in line with each other. So draw your right leg back in a little bit if you've gone skew with. And then just thinking of that line at the bottom of your bottom there where it meets your thigh on the back of you, lifting from there, lifting from that hip joint point, or glutes point, and then lowering the leg back down. Take 2 more of those, lift up, and lower. And try and breathe nice and evenly, nice and slowly. Keeping the leg up on the next one if you're comfortable. And then taking a few ankle rotations. Both directions. Lots of clicking going on through my jump. And then releasing that leg back down. Moving on to your left foot. Take the same thing. Drawing the leg out. Check the hips for positioning, alignment. That's so that we don't annoy those SI joints again. We keep everything in alignment there so that when we lift, it's not asymmetrical. Lift and lower 2 or 3 times on the breath. So inhaling up, exhaling down, nice and slowly. And then staying up on the last one and having a little circle of that ankle, both directions. So gentle strength work here, as well as flexibility. But lifting weights and things is just not for me, definitely in this heat. But we're still putting a bit of strength work through what we're doing here. So we are doing everything that we do in a normal yoga class, but just a little bit more mindfully and carefully. Okay, feet back down, soften the knees, sink the bottom, take the hands off the bricks then, and gently raise back up. Take your time, roll up carefully, come back up to standing. Pop the bricks out your way when you're ready. Okay, so now finding warrior 2, but an easeful warrior 2, doesn't need to be too energetic. So standing at the front of the mat, if you want to do it this way, step back with the right foot, quite a long way, adjust that back foot, Knee should be over ankle on the front foot, so you might have to have quite a long stance like I do, and then rotate to face the middle. Now, arms can stay here on the hips for the moment if you want, but we're going to lift them up and down, so whichever's more comfortable, either out here or here, just so that when you move, all we're doing is up and down and straightening that front leg at the same time. So when you're ready, inhaling, straighten the front leg, bring the hands up together, exhaling back down. If you keep them at shoulder height, it'll be a little bit more strength work through your shoulders there. You can turn the head as well, maybe, so that as you come down, you allow the neck to just rotate and look toward the middle fingers. Back up to the top, you're looking forward. One more. And then rotate that back foot, draw the back foot in a little bit and rotate it so you come into high lunge. And rotate your body then to face forwards. Hands come down. Again, hands can just stay here and do some movement with the upper body if you want to. Otherwise, clasp your palms together, turn them out so that the palms are now facing forwards. And then what we're going to do is reach out as we straighten that front leg. If you find it really wobbly, go into warrior one foot at the back. And then as you come back, we're going to reach upwards and fold that front knee again. So you're straightening the leg as you push the hands forwards and reaching out through from your hip flexors out to your crown. You're folding the leg and reaching up as you come back. I've forgotten what I'm doing next, so just do one more of those while I look. But then we're rotating back round and we're coming to wide leg now. So drop that foot that was up on your toes at the back, turn the front foot forward. Toes are facing forwards or slightly in here. Hands on waist here, I would suggest. All we're taking is some side bends. So inhale the left arm up and then armpit to hip very much here. So what you want is to feel this extension without going over too far. So it's extending rather than folding. And then when you're there, inhale and press into that foot onto your toes. Reach out as far as you can and then release. Take two more in that position. So you're pressing into your toes and coming up and really reaching out through that side bend. Using a bit of ankle strength here. 76% of our proprioception is in our ankles. I read the other day. That's amazing. Okay, take that arm down. Same thing on the other side. So arm comes up in the inhale. Exhale, armpit to hip. So really feeling that extension through the side body rather than folding over like that at the waist. And then using your inhale to roll up onto that ball of that foot, working that old calf. Watch the elbows not rolling forward. Try and keep it out your peripheral vision a little bit more so you really are side bending rather than semi-forward folding. Keep that bottom tucked. Keep the tummy tucked. And then hands come down. Rotate your hand there. No, we're going to find out. Rotate your foot so that you're going to the other side now in warrior two. Same thing. Inhaling up, straightening the front leg. Exhaling, maybe going into goalpost stance this time just for something different. Oh, it's hot here already. I'm just not made for this. Okay, so then rotate to the front and find your high lunge position or warrior one if you feel more stable. And this time we're going to take the arms up above the head and just find our extension there in that little back bend. And hold and breathe. And then while you're still there, press gently into that front foot and open up that front leg. Bit of balance here. So holding and breathing. In a little bit of a back bend. See if you can get your elbows a little bit closer to your ears. If you're wobbling, please that back heel down a little bit there into warrior one. And then coming back down. Rotating to the front again into wide legs. We're going to take Robin Hood arms now. So hands out in front of you, palms facing. Remember to allow the knees to go here as well for the twist. Inhale, take the elbow back as if you were drawing an arrow and bow and arrow. Exhale, rotate and open up that back arm. So let that left knee come with you if it needs to. Adjust so that you're not putting too much strain through your SI joint. Exhaling, we're taking the arm back. So take that in one movement. Inhaling, elbow comes back. We start that twist. Exhaling, we open up. Inhaling, we draw it back. Exhale, we stop. One more on that side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Other side. Inhale. I might be going too quickly. Do it in your own time. Exhale. Allow the movement to go right down through to your ankles. Inhale, back to the front. Exhale there. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, back to the front. Exhale. I think one more, is it? Inhale. Exhale. Ooh. And hands come down. Okay, step the feet together. And we're going to try a balance there with tree pose and do that movement. So if you need to use a brick under your foot or keep your toe on the ground or stay near a wall or a chair, then please do. But let's try that Robin Hood in the balance. So find your tree pose this morning. Find your foot position. Remember to try and open out that the bent leg. So try and draw that glute backwards so that your knee goes further open. And then draw that left leg in. Remember that's your standing leg. Draw that glute in so you feel nice and strong on the standing leg. Sometimes kind of feel a bit more wobbly when we're overheating as well. So just be aware of that. If you feel a little bit lightheaded or whatever, please come back down or keep the foot on the floor. Okay, so inhaling, taking the elbow back. Exhaling, rotating. So it's the same side as your bent leg that we're taking the arm back on. Inhaling, taking the arm back round. Exhaling. Two more on this side. Inhaling the arm out. Third one, we're going to see if we can hold for a couple of breaths. Open out. Ooh, I'm wobbling. Once you start thinking you're wobbling, your mind just goes. And it's interesting, I am feeling my ankle feels weaker this morning, and whether that is to do with the heat, I would suspect it is. And hold and breathe for a couple of breaths if you can. Trying to remember to open out as much as you can. Wherever we're opening through the armpits, we're opening through that right leg at the hip. And then bringing the arm back round and having a little rest, having a little shake out, particularly of that standing ankle. So have a little circle of it. Yes, that's interesting. You do feel a lot weaker when you, and that is a sign of exhaustion. I suppose that's why the heat exhaustion is the phrase. It does make it harder to do things. Okay, moving into the right foot for tree if you're ready. Foot can be on the floor, remember, if you're feeling a bit wobbly. Make sure that standing leg hip is drawn into the centre line. And then make sure you squeeze this other glute a little bit so that you get the benefit of really opening up through that front hip flexor there. Arms ready for Robin Hood. Might be a bit more wobbly on this side, remember? So inhale the elbow back, open up, and exhale. Taking it really slowly. Harder to balance, but sometimes for me, a lot easier. If you try and do this quickly, you will fall over. Two more, and on the third one, we're holding. Yeah, checking in on people who are vulnerable in this heat. I know you're all good neighbours, probably got your own people to look after too. But really being aware and checking on people and letting them know what to do if they're feeling too hot. You know, not everybody knows first aid. Hold and breathe in the open pose for a couple of breaths. And sometimes older folk get past the point of thinking of doing anything. Babies, of course, can't do anything, and neither can little people, so children, so look after them too, obviously. Right, we're going to come down again. We're going to roll down and come to all fours when you're ready. So taking your time, rolling down, softening everything as you go. You don't need to push through it. Come down to tabletop. Find your tabletop position. We're going to do 3 movements here on the breath. So on the inhale, we'll take our leg out. We'll start with the right leg out to the side, into side gate. So a modified form of gate. So it's not going backwards here, it's going out to the side, extended. On the exhale, you'll bring that back in. On the inhale, we'll extend through our cat. So that's different from normal. On the exhale, you'll bring that back to neutral in the spine. On the inhale, we go into cow, back to neutral on the exhale, and then we begin again on the other side with the other foot. So when you're ready, inhaling, right leg goes out to the side, into side gate. Exhale, the knee comes back. Try and keep a nice stable base all this time. Inhale, we go into cat back from the base of the spine upwards and let the head roll down. Exhale, we roll through into neutral. Inhale, we roll up into cow from the tailbone movement again. Exhale, back into neutral. Moving to the left leg this time, so inhaling the left leg out to the side. Exhaling it back in. Inhale, roll up into cat. Exhale, into neutral. Inhale, into cow. Exhale, into neutral. Back to the right leg. Right leg out. Inhale. I'm bringing my knees together. See if that makes it easier or harder for you. Exhale. Inhale, into cat back. Really pushing through and opening the spine. Giving it some space and some air between those joints. Inhale, roll through to neutral. Exhale, inhale, roll up into cow. Got that one wrong. Exhale into neutral. One more to the left. Inhale, take the leg out, extend. Up onto your toes maybe. Exhale, back in. Inhale into cat. Maybe you can curl your toes and press gently into your toes as well. Open up the sole of your feet. Exhale back into neutral. Inhale into cow. Press gently through the palms of the hands. Exhale back into neutral. Going to come round now into gate. So take your right leg, swing it off the mat, and then roll up so that you extend into gate with your left leg out. So let's take some side bends in gate. So hand at the waist, or you can use your hand down the leg, whichever you'd rather, but make sure, not like me, that you keep your hip over your knee. Inhale, the right arm up, same side as the bent leg. Exhale, over. Armpit to hip again, so not a fold of the waist. Inhale, back up. So we'll take 2 of these, and then we'll take a roll in that position. Inhale, tall, exhale, over. Watch that top elbow. Make sure you're keeping the alignment in the side body there. Shoulder over knee. This one we're going to hold over. And on the next inhale, we're going to roll that top shoulder back and look up towards the top corner. And hold and take a couple of breaths there. Bit more open here in that side then. And then back to neutral into that side bend, and then back up to the top, and arm comes in. Bring the other leg in, same thing on the other side. So just swap over your gait here. Hand on the waist or on thigh. Inhale, long extension on the left hand side from the knee up. Exhale, armpit to hip. So folding through the side body rather than at the waist, and back up. So 2, and then hold and roll. Inhale over, exhale over, sorry. Back up to the top. And then this one we're holding and rolling. So holding over, and then taking that top shoulder and elbow back and rolling up to look at that top corner. Hold and breathe. And then roll forward back to your side bend and back up to the top on the inhale. Now we're going to thread the needle, but we're not going to hold thread the needle today. Anybody that doesn't want to do this can do it on all fours. If you don't want to take your head down, you can stay on all fours. All we're doing is the same twist that we did when we were in half Uttanasana, half forward fold. So otherwise you can take your elbow down and your head down a little bit. Not maybe elbow right down, but you can take your arm up and you can go through like that. So you're nearer into a child's pose feeling, or you can take it in all fours. Okay, I'm going to go all fours. Inhale, take the arm up, allow that twist. Won't get quite as far as you did standing. Exhale, take the shoulder down and touch the floor with it if you're comfortable doing that. Inhale, open up. Exhale, taking the arm through under the other one. One more open. And down. And let's stay open this time for a couple of breaths, so staying up rather than going down. Taking that back shoulder up as comfortably up as you can. Reaching through the palm of the hand, maybe drawing in the tummy for support here, remember? And then releasing the hand back down and take it to the other side. So inhaling up, so a couple of rolls and then a hold. Exhale down. Take it really slowly and easily. Watch your spine here in this movement, because as you rotate, you are rotating through the SI joints. Your knees here are much more stable. We can't quite use the legs the same way to put the pressure of the rotation down through to the feet. So you have to kind of let your hips go with this one a bit. Open and hold. And then release. And then sit back onto your knees and grab your strap. So option here, oh God, I'm so hot. Option here is to tuck your toes if you'd like to open your feet a little bit more and just kneel onto them. So in broken toe position here. That's not for everybody, but it is quite a nice opener for the sole of your foot if you've got a tendency towards plantar fasciitis. We're going to do Vrkasana with a strap while we're in this position, so quite easeful on the bottom half, hopefully, apart from your toes potentially. Strap in your right hand, take the arm up, holding it, and then fold that elbow so your elbow's close to your ears. Take the other arm out, face the palm forward first of all at shoulder height, rotate it so the palm now faces backwards, and then fold at the elbow and take the arm behind you and either catch your hand or the strap. On one side I can catch a hand, so I can here, but I'm going to catch the strap because I don't really want to be too forceful in this today. And then pull the strap in either direction. So just get a little bit of tension in there. Take that top elbow back a little bit, really open up from the armpit up to the elbow there. And then take that other elbow in a little bit towards your spine. And breathe. Close your eyes. Take 3 breaths, inhaling for 4, exhaling for 6. A little bit of stillness also helps with the heat. You won't always have time to do that, of course. And then releasing carefully. Having a little roll through your shoulders before you move to the other side. If you're in broken toe and not enjoying it anymore, then please feel free to untuck your toes. Same thing on the other side, so arm up, arm folds, elbow close to ear, hand goes out to the side, rotate at the shoulder so the palm faces backwards, And then just fold in the elbow without moving anything else too much and catch that strap wherever you can. This is my side that's tighter. So then walking up the strap as much as you can, taking that top elbow upwards and opening up down to the armpit there, and taking that other elbow in a little bit more if you can, and then breathing. So watch you're not forcing your neck forward here. Watch your tummy like mine isn't sticking out. So draw your tummy back. Find that posture still. Find that nice long spine. Breathing through your mouth as you exhale. And then releasing the strap after your last exhale. Coming down to the floor. Keep a hold of the strap just one more time. Coming down onto your back. Finding the strap and popping it round the sole of your right foot. Extending that leg as much as you can so the foot is parallel to the ceiling. If your knee's still bent, don't worry, but try and extend as much as you can. And then drop the leg away from you carefully. So it's a sort of 45-degree angle, but still holding the strap to help support it. And then gently walking your hands up the strap and bringing the leg in as close as you can. So a big extension now there on the hamstrings. Be very careful here. Drawing the leg in. Some of you can get the leg really in, but be careful you're not overextending through a very soft joint, a mobile joint. And then take the leg back down. Hold that knee in. Give it a little hug. And then release that leg away. Take the other one now. So strap on the sole of the foot, the ball of the foot, holding the strap, gently allowing the leg, foot flexed, remember, down to about 45 degrees from your body. Oh no, it's not from your body, it's 45 degrees from the floor. Never was very good at angles. And then gently walking the strap up and pulling it in the other direction. Extending through your heel here. Feeling that nice big stretch through the back of the leg, hopefully. Letting the leg come back to neutral, losing the strap, drawing the knee in, having a bit of a squeeze in through half Uttanasana. Dropping the foot to the floor, bringing both feet in now to wide-footed windscreen wipers, wide-legged windscreen wipers. So just having a roll through those hips. Allow the head to roll in the other direction just a few times. Waft through your legs. Move some air. And then finishing in Shavasana. So take the legs away from you. Take the arms away from you. Make some space under your armpits there. Close your eyes. Definitely clammy skin here, but I don't think I'm quite heat exhausted yet. But the skin is amazing, actually. We'll do something on it soon, but it's absolutely amazing that it lets so much water out, but you jump in a swimming pool and it doesn't let any water in. That's quite amazing, really. Not many fabrics can do that. So lying here, just have a quick scan of your body and where you're hot, particularly feeling it. I can feel the back of my knees are feeling very hot. And as usual, the back of my neck. So being aware that the points of your body where heat doesn't, or it may be that there's more heat releasing from there, those are the points of the body to cool down first. So if you put a cold, wet towel around your neck, for instance, if you feel very hot around the neck, that will help your body to release the heat through the evaporation process as well. So thinking of cold things now, think of snow, think of a very snowy field, crunchy snow. The air really cold as you breathe, you can see your breath. Imagine being in your bare feet in that snow and how cold it would feel. How quickly it takes your temperature down. Or maybe stepping into a cold river or a cold swimming pool if you're not so keen in a river. Walking into it up to your knees and feeling that rush of coldness contract all the blood vessels in your legs. So a counterpose to what your body's doing in the heat. That then helps to balance your blood pressure, etc. So thinking of things that make you feel cool. Ice cream. Maybe running water. Maybe there's a certain place you know is always cool. Our basement is always very cold, so that's nice to sit in the days like this. And if you're not there, if you can bring these things to mind, sometimes that's enough. The body's very clever at working with the mind. So visualizing something that takes your temperature down can actually work just as well as a fan on you. Mind over matter, as they say. So taking some of these little tips with you today, hopefully it'll help you to keep cool, but hopefully it might spring to mind when you see someone else struggling that you might can help. I mean, it's all sensible, normal stuff, going into a cooler place, not sitting in the sunlight, using cold water to drink, but nothing too extreme, because the body would go into shock, obviously. A little bit of fanning, cold compresses on your forehead, etc., etc. We all know these things, but it's just recognizing when somebody might need them. Okay, so ending in a cool position here. We'll just finish here in Shavasana and say Namaste. Next week we will be in our last class for the summer break, so please come if you can, and I hope you all have a lovely cooler week in between wherever you are, but we still want a bit of sunshine. Thank you everybody for your practice. Stay here if it feels nice, move on if you have to, but please take it easy through the heat that we're all having down south certainly today, and stay cool. Namaste.